Hello folks and girls, it is Sunday night, 9 o'clock UK time. It's Sunday night time. Shall we? Where's the button? There we are. Hello folks, Sunday night UK time, 9 o'clock. I've just done that bit, haven't I? Yes. It's been a good week. I have had a very good birthday. I have been inundated with children. Yeah, they seem to come and go. There's one upstairs right now. She's decided she's sitting out the live show. I see a screen full of hell yes. Everyone's wishing me belated birthdays. Thank you, thank you. I suppose this is a bit of a belated birthday party. Yeah, I am well. I'm very well. Stress is coming off. Life is looking good. All those tax issues and personal things, yeah, they're squared away. Yeah, so got the paperwork on that. So Mel has really good birthday if you think about it. I really need this brew as well. Now, Mel is the ripe young age of 45. And I'll be honest with you, folks. Past few years, I've, been a weight on my shoulders and I felt older than I have. But I've got a brother called Martin. Yeah, brilliant bloke. Lives just round the corner. Yeah, we're quite a close family, if you know what I mean, geographically. And what do you call it? Martin at the age, I think he was 45. Martin's 9 years older than me, so he's 54 now. Yeah, I think it was about 45. But when Martin hit about 45 or got close to getting to 50, he decided he was going to take up hill walking. Yeah, and he started with some small hills. Then he went Mini Picchu. He's done Everest Base Camp. He's been around the world and he's climbed. He's hill walked to a lot of high places. And it's like, yeah, well, actually, 45 isn't old. 45 is the start of a new life, isn't it? So, birthday week, start of a new life. Right. I'm seeing questions already. Remember, if you've got questions, just throw some question marks out and we'll start opening the question doc on the Sunday nights in future. I am back in the studio now with a proper formal routine and everything and cracking on. Books wrapping up, finishing, working on the buildings at this moment, and it's going well. Should get that wrapped up pretty quickly, a lot quicker than the river anyway. I'm also slowly getting into getting streaming and everything back from the studio. And on that matter, finally, the webcam turned up today. Yeah? What a way of cracking a birthday week. This was one of the first things that we funded for, wasn't it? Because we had problems with Bob, Rita and Sue. Yeah? What do you want to drink from the virtual bar? Oh, well, I've got children, so I can't get... Well, I suppose I can get virtually drunk, can't I? Yeah. So, I'll have a vodka and Coke, please. Yeah. Anyway, the new webcams come, which means it's a different model to that one. It's a different model to that one. So, I should be able to colour balance it and restream it and do all that. So, I'll have a little play with that at home this week, yeah, in the evenings. And if I can get the setup sorted for 3 cameras here, yeah, and all working comfortably, then my intention is just to buy a new machine, yeah, and get the setup in the studio, yeah. That'll be done in a month or 2, but I want to get it sorted here first. Virtually hammered is doable. I like that. Michael's saying I'm having a vodka now. No Coke, though. I've got Coke in the fridge, actually. Or I might have a can of Coke, a cheeky can of Coke. Those of you who are a long time to the channel knew in the past, long past, I used to have problems with toothache. They're well sorted now. Yeah, but I tend to avoid Coke, or too much sugary drinks. Yeah? Question, any tips for a beginner learning to flock? I suppose my best tip on flocking, yeah, is don't go over the top with it. Just a little will do just to get the right results. And what I mean by that is, actually, if you sprinkle your flock on carefully, rather than just dunking it in things or throwing it on, yeah, you actually use a lot less flock and you get much better results. Yeah, so if you're going to flock it, don't go overboard. Take it gently till you get the perfect results. Thanks for the drink, Dan. Everyone, thanks, Insane. Yeah, what happened a few days ago? You seem to have fallen ill. Tuned in for the first time and just got the last minute. No, what you call it? Bit of a stomach bug going around. And yeah, Willow brought it into the house. Corbin stayed, and basically, what you call it? I could just, and I was sick. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm a little bit, what you call it? So that's all settled now. Yeah, my stomach's doing that rumbling thing. So at the minute, yeah, I'm quite lean. You look really horrible last show. Yeah, I know. But like I say, I ended the show by, being ill. But bounced back perfectly fine. I'm going to be to detail a resin model with 1mm glass beads. What's a good glue for that? Depends. What are you trying to achieve with the glass beads? You look horrible most of the time. Bugger off. Any chance of building something tonight? I might pull something across. Glad book is wrapping. Happy you're feeling your passion is building again. We need our Melfix. Live builds. We must have glue and paint. I totally agree. But you throw me off topic now, you cheeky chappies. Yes, streaming setup's all sorted. Right. Cashco, I don't know if Luke's APS's flock works well. I've seen it. It looks like good flock. I've never used it, but I've seen it at shows. Should have picked some up. Yeah, looks like it's perfectly fine, mate, so go for it. And Luke does good stuff, so I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know if his flock is colour fixed or not. Yeah, I like Jarvis flock because it isn't colour fixed, and so I get nice blending when I seal it. Yeah, but that's a personal preference. Rivet detail for the glass beads. Right, okay, so you're doing little impressions into the base with a pin vise, and then you're dropping a glass bead in to make the top of the rivet. Okay, 1mm. To be perfectly honest, mate, I would go with a gel super glue. And what I'd do is I'd get a pin. Yeah, and I mean a proper pin. Yeah, and just what you call it. Dip it in a gel super glue, dip it in the 1mm hole, and roll your bead in. Yeah, the reason I say the gel is that it'll be a little bit more controllable and it won't splash around as much. Yeah. If you're using glass beads for rivets, you're going to be painting over them anyway. But I think PVA, if you use that, there'd be too much volume. It'd blob over the edge. And at the end of the day, you're only fixing a glass bead into a bit of plastic that's going to be well sealed with a base coat anyway. Have you adjusted the colour balance? No, not at all. Did you check out the EOS webcam software? I have looked at it, and there's a couple of things that we can do. Yeah, but really what I want to do is get a proper setup if I'm going to do that, because a lot of the runarounds, I don't like them. They'll work, but if it's got to be done, it's got to be done proper. Is the book getting finished? It is. We are on the finals. After I finish the buildings I'm working on, yeah, I've got 2 buildings, feature builds, and some woods to do. Yeah, so yes. Right. Now, before we move any further, I want a rant. I really want to rant. Mel is not a happy chappy. Where's Pammy? Pammy, the pandemic panic panda? Right. Why is Mel not very happy? Yeah. It's COVID. Okay. Right now, the UK is certainly leading Europe in death toll. Back in March, you all watched how distressed I was and upset I was about not seeing my children, because we were doing the right thing, you know, as a nation. We've all made huge sacrifices. Our kids have been distressed because we've all been following the new laws. And with a bit of comings and goings, it's clearly all worthless. Right, to bring you up to speed on UK politics, Bojo, our fearless leader, who's been absent for most of this pandemic, his chief advisor and the guy who came up with the lockdown rules, he got COVID. He got COVID bad. And he's worried about his kids while he had his COVID. So the chief advisor to the Prime Minister couldn't get childcare for his children. So he drove 260 miles whilst infected and diagnosed as infectious to go get support off his father. I think it was just at the same time as his mother's birthday as well. What a coincidence. I'm curious about the visit to the castle. Was that an exercise thing? On his wife's birthday. And in response to... he was stopped by the police on the journey. And in response, today's announcement from our wonderful Prime Minister, backing his actions as a caring parent that were in the guidance that the government issued. I didn't know you could issue fines for guidance. Can I just say, just a personal opinion, and I know we don't bring politics and that sort of stuff, and we try and avoid it on this channel, but my government's handling of this situation, Jesus Christ, it's just ridiculous. It's disheartening. I mean, Kerry's working as a PPE hub, yeah. She's distributing PPE, yeah, to places that, from what I've heard, they should really have PPE. Of all the places that should have PPE, these places should have PPE. And Kerry's helping them. And she's doing a great job, to be perfectly honest. She's working with Ben down at Foreground. He's creating the PPE stuff, and Kerry's one of his regional hubs, yeah, for distributing it out. Once I get the book done, I expect this crisis to be continuing. I may even be looking to get a laser cutter locally so I can start cutting some of the elements and creating them for Kerry. But I've got to get current commitments finished first. two words. Two words that sum up Mel now. Tranquil fury. Yes, most definitely. That is me, to be truthful. I don't go waving my arms about. I smoulder. Okay, Cat saying we had a moron with full symptoms. We're working at a hair salon for 2 weeks, infecting 84 customers and her 7 co-workers. Didn't Boris get the bot? The New Zealand Minister of Health spent the entire situation in Dunlin, think Edinburgh, and broke regulations 3 times. So officials can be stupid everywhere. I think the thing that annoys me the most is Dominic Cummings is the guy who was a part of the special advisory group. Yeah, on the scientific advisory. I can't remember the SAGE, but the scientific advisory that came up with the rules. He was the one who's orchestrated and helped Boris to deliver all this. And if you don't hold that to account and instead you dismiss it, Eric's saying, Mel, I smoulder about this stuff too. Dan saying, perfect storm. Yeah, it is a bit of a perfect storm with me. That's where I'm like, I don't shout and scream and that sort of stuff. I just, when something annoys me, yeah. Tam, yeah, it's what we're dealing with. They want to open my shop on the 2nd, and I said I would return when the hospitals allow visitors, period. Yip Snake, I trusted you when you said Melly is smart and Mel stocked up on soy sauce because that will be the first to go. Mate, I was working with the information on the ground, yeah, and a bit like the Nightingale hospitals. Yeah, we may not have needed them yet. Yeah, but it's good to have them in place, innit? Planning and preparation prevents a poor performance, my son. Was he the one who ordered home delivery booty call? Don't know anything about that. Not saying anything online about that because that could get very legal quickly. I will state from the facts. I heard that one country's doctor snuck out of lockdown with his wife so he could continue his affair with his mistress. To be perfectly honest, I am curious about the dynamics of that. I mean, clearly, I'm in single life and I'm not even dating or interested in dating or anything like that. I certainly haven't got a mistress. Extremely well-developed forearms, but not a mistress. But, yeah, moving forward, I am curious about, you've had couples locked together and mistresses and obviously, what's the male version of a mistress? Do you know what I mean? There's obviously a male version of a mistress. So what is that? But clearly, I'm quite interested and, curious about how that dynamic is going in a few households. Chris is saying, yeah, furious. Master? A mister? A gigolo? I thought a gigolo is someone you paid. Don't say a bitch. Well, I've never been any of those. Yeah? I think the closest I've ever been is a mister. And I have that. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm going to go nowhere as a gigolo, am I? That lover Mel. I'm not reading that out, pagan. Tanya's saying the male version should be a manstress. Monstrous. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm quite interested about that dynamic. Yeah. I mean, obviously, clearly, Tinder's taken a big hit in the lockdown. You pay for romantic encounters with things like wine, dinner, and flowers. Let's be honest. Yeah, anyone in a relationship knows you pay. One way or another, you pay. I am enjoying the single life. John's saying the earth moved for us here. We just had a 5.8 earthquake. Damn. Now, Steve saying, what annoys me is that Johnson is said to be a responsible father, yet he thinks Cummins did the right thing. Johnson is the bloke who fathered. Uh-oh.
Politics.
Bojo.
Yeah.
There's times when, Dad has to. Here's trouble.
And make it double.
Yeah. Right. What are you up to?
I don't know. I just came down to say hi.
Right. Have you ate your tea?
Yes.
Second tea?
Yes.
Was it the right cheese sauce this time?
Yes.
Right, okay. You wouldn't believe, that just before the live show, I cooked tea for Willow. White cheese sauce she wanted with the spaghetti.
No, I wanted the one that Nan has.
Yeah, and then she comes down and says, this is the wrong one. I want cheddar cheese sauce. So I had to wash all the pans, and remake an entire dinner for you, didn't I? Before the live show. Literally, just before.
Like 2 minutes? So I'm the best.
Clearly.
I'll get an armrest.
You are.
No, I got an armrest.
Team Rocket. Oh yeah, she is definitely a rocket, aren't you?
No, from Pokemon.
No, Team Rocket from
Pokemon.
No, from Skylord.
Pokemon.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pokemon.
No, I'm Groot and you're Rocket.
No.
I am Groot.
You don't understand it.
Okay, Chris is saying good fantasy miniatures that are not Games Workshop. Depends. I like Hassle Free. They've got a lovely collection. Of of fantasy miniatures. Mantic Games as well. Their Dungeon Saga ones are quite cool. As well as their Kings of War range. And the level of detail, they're really nice. Oh, Odin, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Brooks is saying hassle-free characters are good. Have I done model? Yeah, I've done a couple of model aircrafts, but I don't really do those. Reaper are good. You have a few. You like the Reaper ones, don't you? The plastic ones. The plastic white ones. Are you coming sitting on me, are you?
Yeah, give me a chair.
Oh.
Thank you.
Right, can Dad
No.
It's like the old live shows of old, isn't it?
This is
right.
Abuse.
This is not abuse. Right, young lady, I have a live show to do. I love you, darling. Go on. Oh, she is growing up, isn't she? Upstaged, outstaged, and outclassed, and I'm proud of it, mate. Proud of it. Right, Heresy Miniatures is a good small company. Haven't come across Heresy. Brother Vinny is awesome. You go off at a tangent when you're hitting Brother Vinny. So there's definitely a load of of options for you there, mate. They do grow up fast. Now, so clearly, I am done and I have got my rant out of my system. There you are. I've got to say, guys, I do appreciate, the interaction and, you've been there for me. Yeah, for me to get the occasional frustrations through this whole COVID thing going. Personally, I just think it's just become a big box of frogs. Yeah, because clearly the actions in my country, it's out of the bag now. We're just going to have to let it run. Yeah, do our best to hold it back. I don't know how this is going to pan out. Yeah. My personal feelings, I'm damn pretty sure I had COVID quite early on. Yeah, I had all the symptoms. Had a lymph node that came out. Never seen one like it, never felt one like it. And in the past, I've been referred for lymph nodes being up, and concerns. And this one, Jesus wept. I mean, it was huge. I couldn't even touch it. I mean, it was that tender. Yeah. I couldn't even look to the other side without it hurting. So. I ran away, good sir. You're just joining us in the US, Mel. There's a crafter named Bardcraft. I have heard, and I need to check him out. That makes flocked out of chopped bark. Yeah, that's done. What do you think of using bark, and what would be the best way to chop it? I actually find I use cork bark quite a lot. And I actually find that when I'm cutting my large chunks, all I actually do is just put a big bin bag on the ground, yeah, under the cutting edge. Yeah, so as I'm using my jigsaw, yeah, it's collecting all the little bits, and just a few pieces will generate enough particles, yeah, of cork bark for you to use as flock. Sweden's high death toll is because retirement home workers first unknowingly infecting the old, and then partly had to keep working in order to keep the already understaffed retirement homes afloat. To be truthful, one of the big issues in the UK was early on COVID, elderly patients being released from hospital with COVID, taking the COVID into the care homes. The other problem with the care homes in the UK is a lot of our care homes rely on agency nurses who travel from home to home. And so even as the nurses, you know what I mean? Yeah, clearly, there's a lot of possible transmission routes. People are saying coffee grinders and blenders. Yeah, they certainly can, but remember to watch it. You've got to put little bits in. Yeah, bark can actually be quite tough. Oh, sorry to hear that, Dan. I've heard of a few people who've had personal losses, close to me. So far, so good with our family. Yeah, and I'm grateful for it, to be perfectly honest. We're just going to have to see, aren't we? No Jace this evening? No, I did chat with him, and we've got a vid call scheduled. He's in lockdown with his family over the other side of the city. Also, his wife works from home. Yeah, so, they've been locked down for quite a while now, to be truthful, because they actually went into self-isolation a couple of weeks before our lockdown kicked in. Bill saying, any worry about the mould and stuff in that powdered bark? There is a concern, and I've raised it in my bark video. You know what I mean? Just make sure you use the wife's blender to grind bark. I had a friend once. His missus was vegetarian. He once told me that the perfect way to cook a hot dog yeah, as quickly as possible, was actually to throw it in the kettle and just boil the kettle. Thing is, some people are using the pandemic for their own gains. To be perfectly honest, the world is full of people who use any situation for their own gains. Yeah. And the greater the situation, the greater the gains. Yeah. And that's just the way of the world. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it is the way of the world. Papa's saying, yeah, me and the wife have been in total lockdown since the 9th of March for health reasons. Fred and Pat have been in total lockdown. Me and Corbin went to see them earlier in the week. Yeah, and by see them, I mean talk to them through the door, through the glass door. But, we just wanted to see faces. Yeah, and, but they have, because obviously Pat's got, health concerns. Fred's elderly, well, they're both elderly, as we know, and they're in an at-risk group. So they've been in absolute, complete lockdown. Yeah. I mean, they're actually counted as shielded, so that they actually get food parcels and stuff like that delivered by the state. It's his Kung Fu name as well. Tranquil Fury. I do like that. That makes me giggle. Looks like we're all going to have to live with it like flu. Got to get the economy going soon before we have even bigger problems. Well, to be truthful, I mean, it's logistics, isn't it? I mean, the more you open up the economy, the more you increase the issue of deaths. The more you increase the risk of overloading the health service, which means that it can't respond to the normal emergencies it responds to. Yeah, and so secondary deaths go up. Yeah, and so it's and I'm not denying the comment on the economy, but to be perfectly honest, I think after the past couple of decades, we need to step back and have a relook at how we're doing things. A bit. I'm not saying we're going to change into, a new enlightened, but I mean, we went through 10 years of austerity, yeah, to get ourselves out of a debt that we actually managed to double during that austerity. And then this. Yeah. I mean, how are you going to... I mean, in austerity, all the services were cut back so much. What are you going to take? What's left? There's nothing to take from. I volunteer as Empress of the World. You wish, Tanya. You wish. John's saying even governments can't spend money they don't have. Oh, trust me, they have. That's why we have the deficit. Yeah, Tanya, Mel, behave. What do you mean? I'm not being badly behaved. Am I? Mad Max time me thinks, do you know what? Nah. No we, Mel, they. I hear you. Oh, Christoph is definitely behind the feed. He's about, 10 minutes behind and he has no idea? Someone tell him in the comments. This is quite interesting, actually. Christoph's now just become the focus of the live stream. We're entertained by the comments because he's about 10 minutes behind the actual live point. Only on the Terrain Chews channel, eh? Oh. Steve's saying, take it from the billionaires who's offshored all the money. You see, this is one of the things I think about. I mean, if there's one thing that this COVID situation has done across the board, yeah, it's made the entire population annoyed at the government. There's no left or there's no right. There's just, we're not happy. We're really not happy. But in typical Brit style, we sit back, we sit controlled, and we smoulder. No, Cat, I haven't caught up on that video yet. We should stop for 10 minutes and let the poor boy catch up. What should the government have done? I don't know. I'm not the science, but clearly it's a box of frogs. No, Norman, we can't kill and eat the rich. They're too fatty. Bad for the heart. You need to. Massive knife skills. This is this bard's crafted who's grown up in the woods, isn't it? From what I've been hearing, he sounds like, I'm going to have to catch up. I mean, I'll be honest, one of the things that I've been very conscious of, yeah, throughout this entire book process is actually stepping back from the online crafting community. And the reason being is what I didn't want to do, yeah, is consciously or subconsciously be influenced by something I'd seen that another creator had come up with, yeah, whilst I was writing the book. Now, yeah, you could say, well, why not include all the best information? And it was like, well, no, what I want to do is I can do that if I do another book. And I don't know if I will, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. If I do, I'll write it bloody first before we do the Kickstarter. Damn sure. It'll be Kickstarter, off to publish. End of. Guaranteed. Yeah. But what I didn't want to do with this book is be influenced, yeah, by anything that had come up recently, yeah, that was someone else's. So at the time, yeah, I decided, right, step back. It's just I didn't expect to have to step back this long with all the personal life stuff that's gone on in the middle. We've had an interesting 12 months wait. Mel, can't wait on the book. It has been a ride. It's been a hell of a ride, to be truthful. And I thank you for sticking with me through this distressing time. Yeah, but we are through it and we're much better now. But you explained how you did the stuff with the foam if you don't have the wood. It's Finland. Right, I'll have a nose. Well, like I say, I'll have a nose once I've finished. Mel, have you got my Kickstarter book yet? I haven't seen it. I did file the thing, but I haven't seen it. Also, I haven't had, what do you call it? I haven't seen, what's his name's? Gerard's that I backed as well. That's not a bad idea, John, but to be truthful, I want the main focus once, you know, the next month or so is over is, and that's what we're talking, a month, yeah, for finishing this all off. Well, finishing all the stuff I have to give to Dave for the book, yeah. after that, I want to get back to the channel stuff and interacting and the YouTube and the community. Mel, check your older emails. Tanya released it a while ago. I know, and I replied. And I filled in the form and everything. Haven't seen it. But no stretch. Tanya's already on book 2. Well, my writing is knocking out at an incredible pace, to be perfectly honest. So I'm doing well on that count. Yeah, no, Norman, I do as well. Mail system is too slow. Don't worry, Tanya, it'll turn up. Looking forward to a big build and following along. Yeah, so am I, to be truthful. I've missed sharing content with you guys, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. The idea was to share bits, of personal stuff as we went along, and then because of the life stress, I had to focus completely on the book whilst dealing with family things and that sort of stuff, and setting up a new life in a new home. Damn. Do you know what? I'm coming up. I'm a week away from 5 months of living on my own as a single man. That's a thing, isn't it? Mel could also do an annual, the best of the Terrainiac. Yeah, there's lots of ideas like that. And I've talked with Jace about them, and I've talked with Dave about them. Yeah, just need to get this last month done, and then done. But to get my fix, I actually found some really fun stuff building. So many great builds going on. I know. I'm hearing about them and all that sort of stuff, so I'm looking forward to diving back into the community. It's a bit of self-isolation, if you know what I mean. It's kind of isolating and self-isolating at the same time. Yeah, time does fly, mate. It's been a long 5 months, but on the up on every count. Have you seen the 40k 9th edition trailer? No, I haven't. Yeah. Now, yeah, I've heard that it's out. I've seen Ash's reaction to some stuff, and I've seen a bit of a reaction video. So I'm going to have to chase that one up. Does anyone know what's happened to the Wargaming Rules author Daniel Mercy, the guy who wrote Lion Rampart? His blog has been down since January, February. Why not reach out to the guys who published Lion Rampart? I imagine they'll be in contact with him. They would know if there was, a family concern. I mean, that's another thing, isn't it? That's one of the things that, to be perfectly honest, does does jar on me. The thing is, some of the best names and some of the oldest names in our industry. Well, let's be honest. Yeah. Wargamers aren't the healthiest and fittest of people, are they? We like our cake. And I'll be honest with you. I am concerned that there's friends that I met, or for the first time at Adepticon last year, won't be at the next one I go to. That's a kick in the guts. I think that's one of the problems with the community. A couple of risk factors really run through it. Kat's gearing up for her season, Halloween. I love how Kat is gearing up for Halloween. Yeah, and when is it? Where are we? Just coming into summer. Oh, right. I'm going to ask you if you have any terrain questions. Yeah? Because I've got a little girl upstairs who, you know what I mean? She's challenged me to a game of Roblox. I have no idea what Roblox is, or if it's anything like Minecraft. Tanya's saying, we're a pretty smart, safety-conscious community, Mel. We'll be good. I know, Tan, I know. I just worry, you know what I mean? And now that as a wargamer who's interested mostly in historical wargaming, it's sad for me to see so much effort and content in wargaming turn to sci-fi. I think for a couple of companies it's because, you know, there is a financial focus and an interest in that. But there's certainly a massive community for historical wargaming. I mean, when I go to the wargaming shows, yeah, the sci-fi tables are in the tiny minority. It's the historical tables that cover all the boards. So I think online it may appear that, you know, things are very, sci-fi driven. But I think that's also because the community that is in the sci-fi sort of part of the hobby are very online people. Whereas the people who are mainly into the historical side aren't so much. So I think there's a bias there and a misreflection that's resulted in a lot more sci-fi related content being put up on the web, yeah, than historical. But the historical side is definitely there, and no doubt, you know, the content for that will grow because in the community, you know, and then the wargaming shows, there's clearly the interest. Cat's saying, I think the bigger worry is the shops and small businesses that won't make it rather than the folks. Yes. Yeah, I do think that is a concern. I mean, the hobby community is never retail end, you know, for independents and small gaming companies. It's never been about rolling in riches, has it? You know what I mean? It's always been a bit tight. And also, I think with the collapse of the shows network, you know, the amount of sales they're going to lose. I mean, just UK Games Expo alone, yeah, can count for a lot of these companies 50% of their annual sales. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's going to hit hard. Yeah, people are saying historical community is small companies that don't have the budget or desire to spend on marketing push. That's true. There is a niche within historical wargamers that, you know, I've found frustrations with in the past. Yeah, with regards to accuracies and being right and that sort of stuff. For James, check out my trench making videos, but also check out the Let's Make series. There's emplacement, slit trenches and stuff like that in there as well. Any good tips for putting snow effects on top of tufts? Use a gloop snow. A mixture of snow and a glue. Yeah, and make sure your tufts are dark. Yeah, because they'd be shaded by the snow, and then just blob it across the top. Oh, sorry to hear that, Papa. Brooks is saying one thing about historicals is that you can't copyright any of it. So a company can't just dominate its own market like Games Workshop. That's very true. You know what I mean? And not just that. It does allow the smaller companies to complement each other better. Tanya's saying if you want to support your hobby and if you can, buy something from a small company that you like. That is very true. That is very true. Cat's going to be busy soon. Oh, pardon me. Not a COVID cough. What the hell was that? What's she doing? Right, we're coming up on the hour anyway. I have a feeling I may, I may need to address something upstairs before the Willow. I don't know what she's up to, but that sounds like she's dragging furniture. Kids, eh? Right, folks, I'm in the studio tomorrow. I'll be live on Tuesday night, yeah. I'm going to bring some stuff home from the studio so I can work on it at home as well. So I will be building on Tuesday night. Fill the screens with hell yes. You have been a lovely crowd. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful chatting to you. And I've got to go save the girl. Yeah, foot comes through the ceiling. So I'm more concerned about shelves coming through the ceiling. Catch you later, folks. Ta-ra.